Hey guys, so here I am in Madeira and I'm just down off the mountain. So this is day 2, but day 1 really in Madeira. Yesterday was travelling to get here. So maybe I'll give you a quick recap on the 2 days so far. It's 11:20 in the morning on Saturday morning. I flew down yesterday. I stayed in Dublin overnight and took my flight at 10 o'clock, and it was a perfect flight, Ryanair, down to Madeira. I arrived there around 1:30, and the car hire company came and collected me, and they gave me that car, that black car. See that one there? So it's a fine big car. It is automatic, unlimited mileage, and it costs me €15 for the week. I mean, you couldn't make it up. Now, there's an excess on the insurance of €1,500, so I took out a separate insurance to cover that for €50, so that if anything happens, I won't lose my £1,500. But so you could say the cost of the car, actually, to make sure there was no excess, you could say the cost of the car was €65 for the week, which I think you'll agree is pretty amazing value. Just waving at the locals passing by. Everybody here is super friendly. So I then hopped in the car and I put the address of where I wanted to go into Google Maps. Big mistake, of course, as you have already guessed. And about an hour later, I found myself at a dead end in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, at a house. So I put in, of course, the name of the place, and I find out there's 4 or 5 places on the island that have the same name. So then I actually got the address, the correct address of where I wanted to go, put it back in, and wandered my way back. The advantage of that was that I got out and I got to see a little bit of the island. So here I am in Madeira, and what an incredible island. I think it must be the hilliest island I've ever been in my life. Absolutely incredible. Once you leave the motorway that runs along the coast, and you can see it down there, if you look down there you see the motorway. Once you leave that motorway, you're on tiny little country roads like this that don't go through the mountains, they go up and over the mountains. Quite wonderful. But I got to see the island, which was sort of nice. Got a tour of the island, and the thing that strikes you is this island really is all up and down. There's nothing flat, nothing, and really steep hills. So anyway, I got to my accommodation, and it's not exactly what I expected, but I have my own little room, a little single bedroom, and sort of old-fashioned 1960s furniture and stuff, or 1950s maybe even, but quite charming, and the lady who runs it is lovely. So I checked in, and then I went off in the car again to try and get some groceries and to find somewhere to eat. So I eventually found the supermarket, but couldn't find anywhere to park. And I ended up about a mile away from it, so there was no way I was walking back when I finally found a parking. So I went to get something to eat. I went to a little cafe and asked them if they had any food. And they said, yeah. And I asked her what she had, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. So I said, I'll have whatever it is. And out came a plate of rice and meat, which was lukewarm. And it was what it was. Let's just leave it at that. But, these beautiful little cakes, little tarts that the Portuguese make, and with a sort of a custard in the middle. I had one of those for dessert. That made up for the rest of the meal. So I got back to my accommodation, and I just chilled for the evening. I got a book there that was written back in the 1980s that she had on the island of Madeira. So I started reading about the history of it, which is quite interesting, and the geography of it. And I got an early night. Went to bed at 8 o'clock actually. So I had a big night's sleep. Woke up at 7. Got up and came up to here, drove up to here. You can see here where I am on the map. I just pop it in there for you. Drove up to here, and then I decided I would do this walk Now this walk is not really what I expected. I ran it actually. I walked up and I ran down. It's about 18 kilometers up and down, and I did it in, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And I walked along what they call a leval. These are little waterways. You can see the picture here of them. Little waterways that carry the water down to, I'm assuming they're harvesting all the water up on the top of the mountains, and any rainfall, they're catching it all, they're harvesting it all, draining it and bringing it down to use. Because of course this is a volcano in the middle of the ocean, so I'm not sure what water supplies they have. But the walk itself, you have about a 75 centimetre path, either dirt path or a little concrete path running along by the edge of it. So you'd want to be pretty sure-footed and have good balance, not be afraid of heights, because there's some pretty sheer drops right down on sides of it. Some of them are just like so, and there's trees and brambles and things on it that potentially you grab onto. I actually fell once. I tripped and I went over the edge into a load of brambles. You can imagine that was fun, but I was grateful there was just brambles that I wasn't over a cliff edge. But yeah, they have some little fencing up, not fencing, but a railing up. It's not a great railing really, it's not much of a railing, but they have it up where there's really sheer drops, and where if you went over there's nothing to grab onto, where you'd actually die. The rest of it, there's nothing. So you're running along a 75 centimetre path with pretty sheer drops one side of you, and this little waterway the other side, and a cliff up from it. So it's yeah, you wouldn't want to be afraid of heights, and you want to have good balance. The run itself was absolutely harmless. There was no big climbs. I was expecting like serious climbs. So it ran, basically, I want you to imagine two big mountains and a valley in between. So it ran up one side here and along the other side. Now obviously there was a climb, but very, very little climb. You're obviously there's climb because the water was flowing down the mountain. But I thought it was a harmless climb, and it was actually a really, anybody could do this walk. You don't need any gear, you don't need trail shoes, you can go up there in your street shoes, anybody could do it. Very, very simple walk and really pleasant. The topography is interesting. I said you've all these mountains, and they've stepped everything is stepped, and they're growing all sorts of fruit and veg. It's really sort of weird. You're there and you see a field, or a little garden where they've got ridges and they've grown potatoes. And then right beside it you see this. You see figs and you see bananas. It's sort of tropical. It's green like Ireland, maybe even greener than Ireland. And really sort of lush. Really lush. This is January, so this is the middle of January, or heading towards the end of January. It's probably 19, 20 degrees today. It's a bit overcast. The sun breaks through every now and again. It's beautiful. It's perfect weather. It's like an Irish summer's day, and perfect running weather, perfect hiking weather. So yeah, really like the place. Beautiful views. You can see these views here, looking down the valleys and looking over out at the ocean. Absolutely wonderful views. So quite spectacular. But what I'm going to try tomorrow, I'm going to try and find something. Oh, my ears just popped. Now both of them have popped. That's sort of weird. Tomorrow I'm going to try and find something a little bit more rugged and get away, something, a little bit more of a trail, a little bit less like that, and maybe something a bit longer. So I did about 18 kilometers today. Tomorrow I'm going to try and find maybe a 25 kilometer hike and do that. What I liked about today's one was it was out and back. So I ran out, I walked up and ran back, and I could have run it all, to be very honest with you. It was that easy. But I didn't know that. I was always expecting it to get harder as I was going along, but it didn't. The only steep climb was just up the road there. There's this climb up from this road, you see it here. And this is this is the only really steep bit in the whole walk or the whole run. So that's sort of it. It's now 11:30, just after 11:30. I'm going to head down to the accommodation, pull the thorns out of my hands, where I put my hands down into the brambles to save myself. I have a shower, and then I'm going to go and see about getting a few supplies, some food, some water and things, and then finding somewhere to eat. And then I'm probably just going to chill for the day. Might do nothing, just go down to the local town and go for a wander around. So that's it. I'll keep you updated. I'm going to my idea is to do a little video every day, and I'm not going to upload these as I go. I'm going to wait till the end, edit them so I can stick in the photos and things, and then upload them all at one go. So that's it. So see you all tomorrow. Cheers, guys.